6 months. A lot can happen in 6 months. You can get a new job, graduate from college, celebrate anniversaries and milestones. You can meet new people, form new relationships, take on more responsibilities. There's just so much time for things to happen. Or for them not to happen. Albert Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Surely, somebody who plays the same disgustingly hard Pokemon game over and over again, constantly gets sent back to the start, wipes to the same gym leaders over and over and over, loses 2 separate runs in Victory Road. Surely somebody who does these things fits Einstein's definition and is in fact insane. Well, I'd beg to differ. Because even though it took me 6 months, even though I lost 75 times, even though I spent over 20 runs not getting past the second gym leader, I did the same thing over and over again. And I found my different results. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, slays, theys, and everyone in between, this is the story of how I beat a Pokemon BlazBlack 2 Redux Challenge Mode Hardcore Nuzlocke. Before we begin, let me go over the rules. I could only capture the first Pokemon I found in each area. If any of my Pokemon fainted, they were considered dead, and I could no longer use them. I must play on the set battle mode, meaning I could not switch out my Pokemon when the enemy was sending in a new Pokemon. I may not use any non-held items in battle. Additionally, I played with level caps, meaning that my Pokemon could not exceed the level of the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon. I also used rare candies to level up my Pokemon, because cheating is based and grinding is cringe. It should also be noted that I played on the patch of BlazBlack 2 Redux that still included EVs. While I never intentionally EV grinded any of my Pokemon, I liked the idea that if a Pokemon of mine came to multiple fights and proved their worth, they would get a little bit stronger from the EVs they gained in comparison to those who didn't come to as many fights. A side effect of playing on this patch is that, unlike the EV-less patch, wild Pokemon could still be found holding their specific held items, so I had items EV-less runners wouldn't normally have in certain splits. With all that out of the way, let's get into the run. After a devastating loss to the second gym leader Roxie on attempt 75, I am sent back to Nimbasa City to see Bianca for the 76th time. When it comes time to pick my starter, there really isn't a bad option. All 3 of the Unova starters have been reworked, and they all excel at different things. Emboar has been made into a fire and ground type, with a buff defense stat and the new hidden ability Reckless, making it hit like a truck. Superior has been given the typical Romhack rework, turning it into a grass and dragon type with the hidden ability Contrary, being capable of showcasing the snowball effect after getting a Leaf Storm off and gaining +2 special attack. I wasn't interested in either of these Pokemon though. For the majority of my runs, including attempt 76, I was a certified otter enjoyer. The Oshawott line gets the ability Shell Armor in this hack, making them immune to crits. That, alongside an added secondary fighting type, makes Samurott too reliable of a Pokemon for me to pass up. We pick up Craig the Oshawott, trounce our rival, and head off to collect our starting pack of encounters. This includes Phonix Monkey the Panseer in Flockasy Town, Bloodrain the Purloin on Route 19, Estella the Pidove on Route 20, Mrs. Tweak the Ponyta in Flockasy Ranch, and Scuzzlebutt the Cubchoo, who we hatch from the egg we receive in Flockasy Ranch. This isn't exactly the greatest starting pack ever. The only real standout here is Purloin due to its ability to counter Roxie's Ghastly, but I'm willing to work with anything at this point. So together with my new friends, I head back towards Flockasy Ranch for the first real fight of the run. The double battle with the Flockasy Plasma Grunt can prove to be a real issue if you aren't prepared. Mienfoo and Axew just do so much damage at this point in the game. Growlithe can power up its teammates with Helping Hand or make you weaker with Snarl, and Joltik can trap your Pokemon in the fight with Spiderweb. Thankfully, I think I have the tools I need to win. Purloin can always bait Vital Throw from Mienfoo, forcing it to move last. This, combined with Fake Out, allows Pidove and Purloin to take out Mienfoo before it can attack. Ponyta then comes in as Axew hits the field, landing a huge flinch to ensure we take out the Axew without any trouble. From there, the rest of my party is healthy enough to clear out Joltik and Growlithe. After rescuing the Rancher's Herdier, we make our way back to Nimbasa City to take on Cheren, clearing out all their students and Cheren's gym trainers along the way. Before we do the Cheren battle, though, we have to make a very important decision. In Redux, all of the Hoenn gym leaders are visiting Unova. You can fight all of them throughout the game, with one Hoenn gym leader being available before each Unovan gym leader. You're incentivized to do this because if you beat them, you get a reward. The gym leader you can fight before Cheren is Roxanne, Hoenn's rock-type gym leader. If you manage to beat her, you're given 2 berry juices. These can make or break your Cheren fight, and they also have a lot of value against Roxie. Unfortunately, with 2/3 of my team currently being weak to rock, I have to pass up on the fight. It's just too risky. This gives us a worse chance of beating Cheren, but I push on nonetheless. Cheren's main theme throughout his entire party is workup. All of his Pokemon know it, and they love to spam it if they don't see a guaranteed kill. Finding a safe line through this fight is almost impossible. You really just have to hope you get lucky, which is exactly what I'm counting on doing. The fight starts with Cheren's Porygon versus Scuzzlebutt. Porygon is holding an Enigma Berry, causing it to heal when hit by super effective attacks. This means Scuzzlebutt needs to hit it with 3 Rock Smashes to kill, dodging 2 crits in the process. Thankfully, after hitting a big Swift, Porygon opts for a workup, letting Scuzzlebutt clear out Porygon while still above half health. Munchlax comes in next, and this thing is a monster. Its tackles do at least half health to all of my Pokemon, and it also loves to Rock Tomb anything faster than it. I decide Scuzzlebutt needs to hold on and risk 1 more crit to get a defense drop with Rock Smash, which he does, setting up the path for Craig to come in and finish the Munchlax off with 2 Razor Shells. Lillipup then hits the field, threatening to KO Craig with Thunderfang. I send in Mrs. Tweak, who not only dodges the 95% accurate move, but then lands 2 Stomp Flinches to take out Lillipup damageless. This is going really well. Aipom hits the field 4th, and this thing is a problem. After working up, its double hit shreds pretty much anything it sees. Water Pulse Confusion can also ruin otherwise hopeful strategies. Thankfully, Mrs. Tweak doesn't care, landing a 3rd Stomp Flinch, which allows Craig to come in and finish off the Aipom with Razor Shells. The fight is essentially over at this point, barring some really bad luck. Estella comes in to take on Deerling, and after securing the KO, she stays in and takes out Doduo, earning us our first badge, Deathless. Getting any run Deathless past Cheren is a very good sign, but we are certainly not out of the woods yet. We beeline straight for Verbank City, evolving Craig into Duat along the way. Once we've reached the Rainy City, it's time to pick up some encounters. First things first, we head to a house next to the gym and talk to a clown who lets us pick one of the Kanto starters. Squirtle is by far the best of the 3, getting a bunch of utility moves like Yawn, Rapid Spin, and Fake Out, while also having a 50% chance of Shell Armor, which is what we really want. We pick up Mimsy the Squirtle, and his ability is... It's not Shell Armor. While not rolling Shell Armor is quite unfortunate, it isn't run ending. Squirtle is still a wonderful encounter, and as long as we get something good in Verbank Complex, we will have a good chance at defeating Roxie. We head into the complex, and our first encounter is... Hello? We rolled the 5% Clink encounter. Not only is getting a Steel type in the inner complex the best case scenario, Clink is by far the best encounter in the area, if not one of the best encounters in the game. We can never let this thing die. Are you kidding me? Its normal abilities of either plus or minus have been replaced with the much superior Levitate, which is a crucial ability for later in the run. In all 75 of my previous runs, I had never once encountered Clink here. Trapper Keeper joins the squad, guaranteeing a good run to come. In this game, the inside and outside of Verbank Complex are 2 different encounter areas. Since we got Clink inside the complex, I opt to take the guaranteed Audino encounter in the outer complex so that we can PP stall 2/3 of Roxie's team. Welcome to the team, Heidi. We clear out the rest of the complex, take out both of Roxie's gym trainers, then evolve Estella into Tranquil and Blood Rain into Liepard before we have to face our next tough challenge. At this point, we could take on Roxie, but there's someone waiting for us on the docks of Verbank City who we need to take out first. Brawly, wanting to stay by the sea, has set up shop in Verbank City, and if we can defeat him, he'll give us a Meditite egg. Meditite is an amazing encounter that you really can't afford to miss out on, so much so that I consider Brawly a mandatory fight. Thankfully, I have just the tools in my box to take Brawly out. Starting the fight in the rain, we lead Mimsy against Brawly's Focus Sash Monferno. We fire off a Yawn followed by a Rapid Spin to immobilize Monferno, break its sash, and get rid of Stealth Rocks before switching into Craig, whose held Muscle Band, along with the damage boost from the rain, allows him to KO Monferno with Aqua Jet, Oko Meditite with Razor Shell, 2-shot Machop with Razor Shell, and 2-shot Sawk with Razor Shell. We send out Mimsy to take on Makuhita, taking it out with a yawn and a few water pulses. Brawly rewards us with a Metatite egg, who we hatch and name Liu Kim. This finalizes our box before Roxie, and we head into the fight feeling confident. Even though I'm confident, Roxie still boasts a very scary squad of poison Pokemon. If you let her lead Trubbish set up Toxic Spikes, the rest of her mons will capitalize with boosted Venoshock damage. Almost nothing can quickly kill her Whirlipede, and her Ghastly outspeeds and two-shots most things due to its held life orb. Luckily, I have a few tricks up my sleeves to deal with these monsters. We send out Mimsy to start the fight. Trubbish gets the Monferno treatment, being yawned, getting its Toxic Spikes cleared with Rapid Spin, and having its HP whittled away with Water Pulse. We unfortunately have to get the kill with Rapid Spin to cover up potential Toxic Spikes, and because of that we take some Aftermath damage, but it's nothing we can't handle. Ivysaur is in next, and luckily it clicks Protect, allowing Mrs. Tweak to switch in for free and OHKO with Flame Wheel. Quillfish comes out wanting to hit Mrs. Tweak with a strong Aqua Jet, so we begin our first PP stall of the fight. Switching between Heidi, whose Regenerator ability nullifies any damage she may take, and Trapper Keeper, we fully PP stall Quillfish out of Venoshocks. Heidi then sets up a Lucky Chant before we swap into Mimsy to hit a Yawn and a Frustration, which does way less damage than I thought since the calculator assumes Frustration is hitting with 102 base power, and mine was definitely. This means Estella has to come in on the guaranteed sleep turn, and all I can hope is that Quillfish stays asleep for a few more turns. Unfortunately, it doesn't. So Estella not only takes a Pin Missile, but she also gets brought down to 4 HP by a nearly max power reversal before taking Quillfish down. This was not the plan, as I was counting on having Estella healthy later in the fight to weaken Whirlipede so Craig could deal with it. We're steering now. Coughing is next, and we're staring down a random move. I really want to PP stall this thing as well, so I switch Heidi in on the random move, praying it's not a critical Venoshock. Thankfully, it uses Psybeam, so we're able to PP stall Coughing out of all of its Lava Plumes and all but one of its Venoshocks, allowing Blood Rain to switch in on the last Venoshock, leaving Coughing with only Psybeam and Poison Gas left. Because of this, Blood Rain takes out Coughing and brings in Whirlipede next for either Venoshock or Steamroller. We switch into Trapper Keeper to take either move, and then perform the third PP stall of the fight, switching between Heidi and Trapper Keeper again to stall out all of Whirlipede's Steamrollers, leaving it unable to touch Trapper Keeper, who slowly whittles it away with Gear Grinds for the kill. Last but not least is Ghastly, but I have a backup plan now that Blood Rain is weak. We do the patented Heidi Keeper stall to PP stall all of Ghastly's hexes, then pivot through Trapper Keeper into Mrs. Tweak on a guaranteed Torment to outspeed and OHKO Ghastly with a Flame Wheel. The dust settles, and despite the odds, we have somehow secured our second gym badge, Deathless. Now that Roxie's been taken care of, only a few fights stand between us and Midgame. We immediately try and make a break for Castalia City, only to be stopped by some Plasma Grunts. After beating them and their friend who ran off, Bryson shows up. He asks us for a battle, saying he admires our courage for facing Team Plasma alone, but personally, I just think he's jealous we stole his thunder. His true reasoning doesn't really matter. We have to beat him one way or the other to continue on our journey. Bryson's team is deceptively tricky. Snover is never really an issue, but his remaining 3 mons can all make the fight snowball. Cryogonal can confuse you and land devastating crits with Night Slash. Smoochum is blisteringly fast and does huge damage after setting up a nasty plot. And thanks to its Skill Link ability, Shelter can threaten to wipe an entire team after a Shell Smash. We start the fight with Mrs. Tweak, who OHKOs Snover with a Flame Wheel, even through its held Aqua Berry. Shelter comes out next, and we respond with Craig, who dodges 2 Water Pulse Confusions to pick up the KO with a couple of Rock Smashes. After Shelter, Smoochum comes out, seeing a kill onto Craig with Confusion. This allows us a free switch into Blood Rain, who can Fake Out to break Smoochum's held Focus Sash, allowing a follow-up Feint Attack to take the kill. Finally, we switch into Mimsy on Cryogonal to Yawn the Snowflake. Then, we switch back into Mrs. Tweak and 2-shot with Flame Charge for a clean victory. With the final obstacle in our way toppled, we're finally able to board the boat to Unova's Big Apple, Castalia City. There's a ton of things for us to pick up here, but also a few genuinely hard fights. The first thing we do after reaching Castalia is pick up a Firestone from inside the Battle Company, allowing Phonix Monkey to evolve into Simisear. We then enter the Castalia sewers, using our newly powered up monkey to clear out the Plasma Grunts inside before going on a Pokemon catching spree. We pick up Goobak the Grimer in the sewers, Mr. Hanky the Diglett in Relic Passage, Brimmy the Burmy in the Castalia Gardens, and Fozzie the Clamperl on Route 4. These encounters are, bad. I basically rolled the one Pokemon I didn't care for in every encounter table. Clamperl specifically left a bad taste in my mouth, as we missed out on getting a Relicanth, whose rock typing would have been incredible for Burgh. Or Luvdisc, whose added fairy typing alongside the ability to learn Moonblast by level up make it an actual threat in this game. Disregarding the mediocrity of our encounters, we head off to the Battle Company, hoping to clear it out due to the promised reward of a Pokemon egg on the top floor. The Battle Company proves to be no problem for my current box, and we reach the top floor in no time, defeating the chairman's grandson easily. Before we claim the gift egg, we talk to another clown who just so happens to be standing around. He offers us one of the Johto starters, and just like with the Kanto starters, there's one that stands out among the rest. Meganium is a grass and fairy type Pokemon in this game, making it one of the few Pokemon capable of somewhat safely handling Clay's Garchomp. Garchomp is such a threat that for almost every run I've done, I've always picked Meganium, as you really don't have a better Pokemon capable of handling that monster. We pick up Mintberry Crunch the Chikorita, grab our egg, and run off to hatch it. This egg is really interesting. It can be one of 4 Pokemon: Bonsly, Mime Jr., Stunky, or Glameow. Each of these Pokemon can do important things throughout a run, but there's a clear standout in my opinion, and that's Glameow. With a lightning-fast speed stat, alongside access to both Fake Out and U-Turn, Perugly can come to most, if not all, of the double and triple battles throughout the run, providing immense value to otherwise lackluster boxes. I'm really hoping to see the cat come out of the bag, I mean, egg, and when the egg begins to crack, we see... Shit. Oh my lord. Hello, Sheila the Glameow. This makes up for our bad encounters throughout the rest of the split. As long as I play correctly, Glameow can carry this squad through Burgh. Before we take on the Bug-type gym leader, though, we have to make a pit stop at Liberty Garden. There's an unnamed man guarding the tower on this island. He'll only allow you to pass by him and see what he's guarding if you defeat him in battle, and you must do so before fighting Burgh. He is no pushover, though. This is by far the hardest team we've faced yet. His Bouffalant threatens every single mon you can think of with either an OHKO or a 2-hit KO. His Loudred is incredibly hard to get rid of due to its held Eviolite. His Musharna will decimate you while being nearly unkillable after setting up a Calm Mind, and his Shedinja's ally swap can throw a wrench in otherwise solid plans. I don't have a safe line through this fight, but what's waiting behind this demon of a man is simply too important to pass up on. So after stealing my nerves, we begin the battle. Leading with Sheila and Bloodrain, I have one goal in mind: cripple the Bouffalant. Sheila fakes out Bouffalant to immobilize it, while Bloodrain tricks a held Flame Orb that I found in Castelia sewers onto the beast, cutting its attack in half. Loudred fires off an Icy Wind to lower both my Pokemon's speed, but thankfully both cats are still faster than my opponents at -1. We go for Slash and Night Slash into Loudred, hoping to weaken it without knocking it out, but Sheila, being an overachiever, lands a crit, taking down the Dubstep Demon and sending us off the planned path. Musharna then comes in, threatening to knock out Bloodrain with a Dazzling Gleam, so we swap Heidi in, allowing Sheila to land a Slash on Musharna before Head Charge connects into Heidi and a Dazzling Gleam hits both of our Pokemon. Sheila U-turns into Goobat, whose held Eviolite makes him much bulkier than you'd expect. Heidi then goes for a pitiful Covet before taking a Dazzling Gleam and a Revenge, bringing her to very low HP. This forces us to swap into a Stella on the next turn. A Stella lives a Head Charge and a Dazzling Gleam on 2 HP, and Goobat lands a crucial poison with a Poison Jab, taking out Musharna at the end of the turn. As Blossom hits the field, both slots see random move kill on a Stella, so we swap her into Phonix Monkey, taking a Wild Charge and a Fiery Dance before Goobat hits Blossom with a Poison Jab that yet again poisons. At the end of the turn, Bouffalant falls to its burn, bringing Shedinja in. Since the Cicada doesn't see a kill, it can ally switch, but that doesn't really matter since Phonix Monkey knows Incinerate, which not only hits both targets, but also always finishes off Blossom at its current health. Goobat Shadow Sneaks Shedinja to break its Health Focus Sash, which allows Phonix Monkey to finish the fight with a double Incinerate KO. This certainly wasn't the cleanest fight, but a Deathless Guardian fight is wonderful, regardless of how scuffed. Recognizing our skill as a trainer, the man steps aside, allowing us to enter into the tower, where we find Butters the Victini awaiting us. Victini is an amazing encounter, and Butters promises to put in work throughout the rest of the run. Unfortunately, in order to be a good Burgh answer, Victini needs a good Speed IV, and Butters has a Speed IV of 6, meaning he's slower than a lot of the threats on Burgh's team. We are gonna have to cook. This is what we're up against. Burgh's team is horrific at this point in the game. All of his Pokemon are fully evolved, while the player only has access to a handful of fully evolved Pokemon. And a few of his bugs outspeed most of the encounters you could have come across by now. To make things worse, you have to fight Burgh as a double battle, making everything 10 times harder. Burgh's Masquerain is an especially big issue. It's been changed to a water and bug type Pokemon in this game, while also gaining 20 points to its speed stat, meaning any fire types you may have hoped to use against it will be outsped and decimated by stab bubble beams. The rest of his team is no joke either, but the Masquerain is almost always the hardest puzzle to solve. The line I come up with is not just risky, it's bloody. Victini would normally be a great lead into this fight, but since Butters is slower than Molasses, I lead with Phonix Monkey and Bloodrain. Both of them outspeed their opponents, and together they can knock out Mothim with a Fire Punch and Night Slash, even through Masquerain's Intimidate. Bloodrain then crucially holds on and dodges a crit as Masquerain fires off a Struggle Bug. This brings out Vespiquen, and with Phonix Monkey barely being out of Bubble Beam range thanks to leveling up from the Mothim KO, both bugs see a kill onto our Leopard. I need to get into a better position here, and the only way to do that is to sacrifice somebody. I switch both my Pokemon out, sending Sheila into Phonix Monkey slot and Fozzie into Bloodrain slot. Unfortunately, our little clam was not meant to make it out of this fight, and Fozzie falls to a Struggle Bug plus an attack order. This allows us to switch Phonix Monkey back in, and with both our Pokemon not being intimidated, we can KO Masquerain with a combination of Aerial Ace and Fire Punch. The best case scenario then occurs. Vespiquen targets Phonix Monkey with a Power Gem that doesn't crit, and then Heracross gets sent out. It was 50-50 for either Heracross or Escavalier to be sent out, and the fact that it was Heracross gives us much better odds at winning. Sheila lands a clutch 93% range on Heracross, OHKOing with Aerial Ace, as Phonix Monkey swaps into Eviolite Brimmy, who very importantly dodges a crit. This baits out Levani next, and since both Levani and Vespiquen see a kill into Brimmy, we can simply protect with our little Bagworm, allowing Sheila to bring Levani all the way down to 1 HP with an Aerial Ace, proccing its held focus sash. On the next turn, we swap Brimmy into Butters and U-turn Levani to KO, swapping Sheila into Phonix Monkey. Butters takes a non-critical attack order, setting up our side of the field nicely versus the remaining two bugs. Unfortunately, Phonix Monkey is baiting a kill from both Pokemon, and with no way to protect himself, another sacrifice must be made. Brimmy switches back in, taking the Power Gem meant for Phonix Monkey and perishing. After landing an Incinerate to chip both Pokemon, Butters also holds against Escavalier's Razor Shell, dodging the 4th crit of the fight. This seals the Bug-type Gym Leader's fate, as Phonix Monkey can come back in, allowing my Pokemon to each fire off blistering Incinerates, burning up any hope Burgh had of winning. Fozzie and Brimmy, your sacrifices won't be forgotten. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for your service. 3rd badge acquired. With this victory, we've officially entered Midgame, getting a huge jump in our level cap, which allows us to evolve a bunch of Pokemon. This includes evolving Mintberry Crunch into Meganium, Liu Kim into Medicham, Estella into Unpheasant, Mrs. Tweak into Rapidash, Trapper Keeper into Clang, and Gooback into Muck. Noticeably, we keep Mimsy and Craig unevolved for EXP management purposes, as well as Scuzzlebutt for Endure strats, which I never end up using. While our box certainly gets a power upgrade, it doesn't make the upcoming fights any less scary. Before being able to advance further onto Route 4, Colress stops us and demands we fight him for his research or something. Colress certainly has some threats, with his Eviolite Porygon 2 being really hard to take out, and his Rotom Fan doing massive damage with Thunderbolts and Air Slashes. Thankfully, a lot of his team is very weak to fire, and with our level advantage, this fight is fairly simple. Mrs. Tweak takes on Magnemite, OHKOing it through Sturdy with a double kick. This brings out Matang, who falls to 2 Blaze Kicks even through its held Aqua Berry. Rotom Fan comes out 3rd, and we respond by sending out Gooback, who can kill with a Poison Jab and a few Shadow Sneak. 4th is Porygon 2, and Eviolite Trapper Keeper can pretty safely 1v1, even after being paralyzed by a Tri-Attack. Finally, Clink is easily taken out by Butters, sending the Weird Scientist packing and opening up the rest of Route 4 for us to explore. We start heading to the Desert Resort to get our next encounter, picking up items and TMs along the way. Everything is going fine until Mintberry Crunch. Gotta love it. Really? Oh god. Well, that's really bad. I fought this trainer a million times before, And never once have I lost a Pokemon to him. I was simply playing too fast, and didn't bother looking up Mightyana's set. This loss was one of carelessness. Mintberry Crunch falls, and our clay split looks a lot bleaker. We can't give up though, so we drag ourselves onward, entering the desert resort and capturing Kristoff the Sandile. We choose not to take an encounter in Relic Castle, opting to delay it for a much better static encounter later in the game. After getting our Croc, we head north through Joint Avenue. Did anybody ever use this feature as a kid? I have zero recollection of it. We try to make our way into Nimbasa City, but we're stopped by Nakreen City's former gym leader, Lenora, and her husband, Hawes. It's time for what my chat has affectionately named the Bi-Wife Double. While only boasting 2 Pokemon each, Lenora and Hawes cover each other's weaknesses and play into each other's synergies, making it very difficult to find Pokemon that can safely stay on the field. Stoutland's Sand Rush ability makes it the fastest thing in the fight. Unpheasant will shred through your team with Hurricanes or a normal gem-boosted Hyper Voice. Gigalith not only sets the sand for Stoutland, but it also does reliable chip damage with Rock Slide while being hard to kill, and Machamp threatens to confuse you with 100% accurate dynamic punches due to no guard. This woman and her bisexual husband are not messing around. We start the fight with Gubak and Sheila, planning to cripple the Stoutland ASAP. We do this in a very similar manner to how we handled the Victini Guardian fight, by faking out the dog with Sheila and having Gubak fling a Flame Orb onto it, cutting its attack in half. Both my Mons then take a Rock Slide from Gigalith before the turn ends. I need to reposition now, so Gubak swaps into Trapper Keeper, and after taking a Strength from Stoutland, Sheila U-turns to bring in Craig, who has been evolved into a Samurott for this fight. Gigalith thankfully sets up a Stealth Rock, allowing both my Mons to stay healthy. Trapper Keeper needs to speed up for the end of this fight, so after he takes a Wild Charge, he automatizes, doubling his speed. Samurott KOs Stoutland, and Gigalith fires off a weak Rock Slide before Unpheasant hits the field. Craig then swaps into Mimsy, who is also fully evolved, while Trapper Keeper hits a big Gear Grind on the bird. It retaliates with a strong Hurricane into Mimsy that also confuses him. Then Gigalith brings our turtle even lower with a Rock Slide, proccing our Oran Berry. Thankfully, we're in a good position now, as Trapper Keeper can finish off Unpheasant with another Gear Grind, while Craig comes back in to eat a weak Rock Slide. I don't want to kill Gigalith this turn, as what I have on the field when Machamp comes out is very important. So I Spark and Aqua Jet to chip Gigalith into Sacred Sword kill range. Then, I swap Trapper Keeper into Butters, and Craig finishes off the pile of rocks, which sets me up perfectly to take out the Machamp on the next turn with a combination of Zen Headbutt from Butters and Sacred Sword from Craig, winning us the battle. With that fight out of the way, we're free to venture into Nimbasa City and the routes surrounding it, picking up Lemmywinks the Emolga on Route 5, Cornwallis the Stunky on Route 16, and Bebe the Roselia in Lostlorn Forest. Emolga is by far the best of the three, giving us an electric immunity with its motor drive ability. After picking up our new teammates, we head into Elesa's gym, planning to quickly take out the gym trainers and move on to one of the harder fights in the game. At least, that was our plan. Which we do. Okay. We recover. Aftermath. Okay, so in my defense, Meganium has always been my Electrode counter in this fight. I've never had to kill it with a physical attack. And to top it all off, I led the fight with the wrong Pokemon, forcing me into an awkward position that led to Mrs. Tweak's death. Mrs. Tweak, I'm sorry. You carried our Cheren fight. Thank you for your service. Before we take on Elesa, I decide to take on the optional Ingo and Emmett fight. This is a tag battle with Rosa, whose team consists of Pignite and Simisage, so you have to do most of the heavy lifting. Both Electros and Chandelure like to randomly click Protect, so you have to get a little lucky in the beginning. You also need to be incredibly careful with your positioning, because Psychic Gem boosted Psychic from Espeon is essentially an orbital strike. You're just not living it unless you're immune or you resist it. I decide to target down Ingo's side of the field first, leaving Electros and Umbreon to be taken out last. We send out the newly captured Cornwallis to begin the battle, while Rosa sends out Pignite, and immediately I make a mistake. I fail to realize that Knockoff getting a power boost when successfully knocking off a held item is a mechanic that was introduced in Generation 6, so what I thought was a guaranteed kill instead leaves Chandelure in the red. This allows Chandelure to bring Pignite below half health with a Hex, it allows Electros to get a Thunder Wave off on Cornwallis, and to top it all off, Pignite misses high horsepower on Chandelure, leaving the Ghastly Ghoul alive. Thankfully, the following turn goes better for us. Electros wastes its turn protecting, while Chandelure brings Pignite into the red with another Hex. Cornwallis then hits through Paralysis, finishing off Shandy with another knockoff. Espeon comes in next, and since he's a guaranteed kill on Pignite, I decide to risk the paralysis and try to hit through with Cornwallis. Pignite falls to Power Gem, Electros hits Cornwallis with a soft Brick Break, and then Cornwallis clutches up and hits through paralysis again, OHKOing Espeon with Night Slash. With the fight being a 2v1 now, it's only a matter of time until the second subway boss falls. We send in Lemmywinks, who, together with Simisage, slowly whittles Electros' HP down to 0. Once Umbreon hits the field, a simple swap into Craig and a single Sacred Sword is all it takes to win the battle. The reward for beating this fight is access to the battle subway, which allows us to take a train to Lentamos Town, which is where yet another clown awaits us. This one offers us one of the Hoenn starters. Both Mudkip and Torchic are good options here, with Swampert particularly being very helpful for the next two gyms. I opt for Torchic though, since its ability to sweep fights late game with close combats and reckless boosted flare blitzes is too good to pass up. We pick up Coach Connors the Torchic, head back to Nimbasa, and start preparing to take down Unova's top model, Elesa. It's time for the first triple battle of the run, and it's a terrifying one. Elisa's team is no joke, with her Zebstrika and Raichu being blisteringly fast, and her Lantern and Stunfisk being very hard to kill. Her team also consists of Pokemon with exclusively the Motor Drive, Lightning Rod, or Volt Absorb abilities, so anytime she clicks Discharge, which 4 of her Pokemon know, not only are you taking big damage, not only are you probably getting paralyzed, her team is also getting either a buff or getting healed up. This fight requires precise positioning and good RNG. I've lost to Elesa many times before, but I'm not gonna let this be one of them. We start the fight with Butters, Mr. Hanky, and Sheila. Butters OHKOs Electivire with Psyshock due to its held Twisted Spoon, while both Sheila and Mr. Hanky go for a dig. Emolga lands a critical discharge on Sheila before she can get underground that also paralyzes, using up our held Cherry Berry. Lantern is forced to click Muddy Water since it sees a kill on Mr. Hanky, and Butters dodges it, making up for the discharge crit we just took. Elesa sends Stunfisk into the left slot, and my plan goes completely awry. I was planning for Zebstrika to come out next, which Mr. Hanky would have taken out with Dig. Instead, he barely misses the KO on Stunfisk, who heals up thanks to its held Citrus Berry. I then realize yet another mistake I've made. Since Sheila leveled up after Electivire was KO'd, she now outspeeds Emolga, meaning her Dig goes off before the Flying Squirrel's discharge. This allows Emolga to not only bring Sheila into the red, but also it heals Lantern out of Psyshock range from Butters. Since Lantern is still alive, it's able to fire off a discharge, killing Sheila, and of course, landing a critical hit on Butters. Stunfisk is also able to fire off a discharge, healing Lantern even more and bringing Butters into the yellow. We are full on steering at this point. I send Blood Rain in on the right to fake out Lantern and prevent it from killing both Butters and Mr. Hanky with Muddy Water. Emolga then hits a discharge which, of course, paralyzes Blood Rain. Mr. Hanky digs underground, promising to KO Lantern next turn, and Butters KOs Stunfisk with Psyshock. Raichu comes out next, and we respond by swapping Blood Rain into Goobak, who eats a discharge from Emolga, which paralyzes her. For those counting, that makes Emolga 3 for 4 on landing discharge paralysis. Mr. Hanky then takes out Lantern with Dig, and Raichu goes for an Icicle Crash to take out Mr. Hanky. Except it misses, which keeps us in the fight. Butters is then able to bring Raichu into the red with a Psyshock before Zebstrika takes the field. I then swap Butters into Blood Rain while Emolga fires off another discharge, speeding up Zebstrika. Mr. Hanky digs to escape incoming danger while Zebstrika lands a brutal high horsepower on the Blood Rain, who barely holds on. Raichu whiffs an Icicle Crash into Mr. Hanky, and Goobak brings Emolga below half with a Poison Jab. On the next turn, Blood Rain crucially hits through paralysis to land a fake out on Raichu, taking the Rodent out. I try to keep the cat alive by going for a Stench Flinch with Shadow Sneak, but Goobak gets fully paralyzed, meaning Zebstrika is able to take out Blood Rain with a high horsepower. Emolga, who was targeting Blood Rain with an Air Slash, misses now that there are no available targets, allowing Mr. Hanky to emerge and KO Zebstrika with Dig. We now have a clean line to victory. Or, we would, if I didn't click Ally Switch with Mr. Hanky, which I then find out doesn't work in the middle slot during triple battles. This means that instead of switching to safety, Mr. Hanky actually just sits in the middle of the field doing nothing, dying to an Energy Ball before Goobak can take out Emolga with Poison Jab. We win the fight, but I planned horribly. I need to step it up if I want to beat this game. Down 2 cats and a Christmas poo, we collect our 4th badge and journey onwards. The game does not let up from here, unfortunately. We take on a back-to-back with some Plasma Grunts blocking our path, and after clearing them out, our next roadblock comes into view. Heartbreaker Charles. Yet another triple battle. Charles has essentially two modes. His first three Pokemon, Krokorok, Sigilyph, and Aselgor, are quite fast and do a lot of burst damage. His back three Pokemon, Druddigon, Bouffalant, and Crustle, are very slow but bulky, dealing immense single target damage while also being difficult to kill. This fight is another run-ender, and with my box dwindling after the Elesa fiasco, I have to take some risks. After evolving Kristoff into Crocodile and Scuzzlebutt into Beartick, we head into the battle. We start with Bebe, Coach Connors, and Scuzzlebutt. Bebe always baits an Esper Wing from Sigilyph, allowing us to freely swap into Kristoff, who's immune to the weird bird's psychic attack. After Aselgor hits Scuzzlebutt with a weak Sludge Bomb, Coach Connors retaliates with a Fire Punch to take the bug out. Bebe was also baiting High Horsepower from Krokorok, which our larger Crocodile should easily be able to take after getting off an Intimidate. Charles doesn't like this idea, and of course, lands a crit, taking Kristoff deep into the yellow. The turn then ends with Scuzzlebutt taking out Sigilyph with a Life Orb boosted Ice Fang. Bouffalant and Druddigon both come in, and then the next turn starts. Kristoff hits Krokorok with a Mud Shot, putting it in range for Coach Connors to take it out with a U-turn, bringing in Trapper Keeper. Scuzzlebutt then OHKOs Druddigon with Ice Fang. Unfortunately, since Aselgor targeted Scuzzlebutt and not Coach Connors, Bouffalant didn't see a guaranteed kill into Coach Connors with Head Charge. This causes it to target at random, and it lands the 50-50 onto Scuzzlebutt, then lands the 75% range, and takes out my bear in his first fight since Cheren. After Craig replaces Scuzzlebutt and Crustle replaces Druddigon, we can clean up the fight, taking out Crustle with Mudshot and Gear Grind, and taking out Bouffalant with Sacred Sword. Another fight, another death. Godspeed, Scuzzlebutt. You died a hero. There's nothing stopping us from entering Driftvale now, allowing us to pick up some encounters in and around the mining city. This includes Mabel the Swablu on the Driftvale Drawbridge, Wilziak the Chinchu, who we fish for on Route 6, Tooth Decay the Boulder from Chargestone Cave, Zazul the Woobat in Clay's Tunnel, and last but not least, our last gift starter from yet another clown in Driftvale City, taking Piplup, who we named Pip. Chinchu is a great encounter, having the Water Absorb ability, giving us an immunity to one of the most common types in the game. Empoleon is also an excellent Pokemon, with a great defensive typing and a stellar move pool. Overall, I'm happy with this pool of encounters. Before we can enter Clay's gym, there's one more fight we have to do. Rude. This X7 Sages member is running a rescue for Pokemon that were abused and stolen by Team Plasma, and he requests a fight with us. This fight is thankfully a single battle, giving us a break from the grueling triples and doubles we've been facing. But it's certainly not easy. If Swoobat sets up with Nasty Plot, you're cooked. If you don't have an answer to his lead Bouffalant, you're cooked. If his Zoroark decides to U-turn and mess up your line, you're cooked. Thankfully, I have plentiful experience in the kitchen, and I'm ready to flip the tables on this old man. Due to Bouffalant's Held Choppleberry, it won't go down to a single fighting type attack from full HP. I solved this problem by leading Liu Kim, who baits Head Charge, and swapping into Trapper Keeper. Then I swap back into Liu Kim on the guaranteed close combat. After doing this twice, the recoil damage Bouffalant has taken, combined with its 2 defense drops from close combat, allows Liu Kim to KO with Fake Out into Jump Kick. Next up is Chandelure, who is always clicking Shadow Ball to KO Liu Kim. We respond by swapping into Kristoff, who easily takes the Shadow Ball and retaliates with a Dig KO. Rude then sends out Swoobat, so we swap into Cornwallis as the bat clicks Nasty Plot, bringing it to a terrifying +4 special attack. Cornwallis doesn't care though, OHKOing the bat with Sucker Punch thanks to its held Life Orb. Stalin's out next, and we swap Trapper Keeper in on a Strength, followed by Kristoff on a Fire Fang to get off an Intimidate, then finally into Craig, who eats an Ice Fang and KOs with Sacred Sword. Zoroark comes out last, and after dodging an extrasensory flinch, Craig picks up the KO with Sacred Sword into Aqua Jet. Finally, our fight goes exactly as planned. After defeating Rude, the path to Clay is wide open. Unfortunately, the fight itself isn't as straightforward. This is the hardest single battle we've had to face all run, and it's not even close. Not only is Clay's team full of monsters, a permanent sandstorm is in effect for the entirety of the battle, constantly chipping away at the health of all of your Pokemon. The biggest threats on his team are Garchomp, Nidoking, and Excadrill. Remember how I said earlier you pick up Meganium to specifically counter this Garchomp? It's because its insane coverage and held Yachiberry make most Pokemon incapable of handling it in a 1v1. Nidoking has a plus speed nature, allowing it to outspeed and nuke most of your team with sheer force plus life orb boosted moves. Excadrill gets its speed stat doubled thanks to its Sand Rush ability, threatening to sweep through your entire party with Earthquake. This fight really is hellish. There's a few consistent strategies for the first half of the fight, but without the right Pokemon, you're normally just dodging crits and praying for low rolls in the second half. There's almost nothing you can do to slow Clay's team down. Almost nothing. There is a weird quirk with the Gen 5 AI when it comes to abilities that make you immune to certain types of attacks. It's called the ability storage bug. Essentially, when the AI uses an attack that your Pokemon is immune to thanks to an ability, the AI will think all of your Pokemon are immune to that type of attack. Take, for example, our lovely little Trapper Keeper. He has the Levitate ability. If at any point in a fight I switch him in on a ground move and activate Levitate, the AI will then assume all of my Pokemon have Levitate, and will be unable to click their ground type attacks for the rest of the fight. A side effect of this is that if the attack the AI can no longer click was its highest damage attack, the AI will instead go for a random move out of its remaining attacks. This makes predicting attacks after ability storage is active a very risky maneuver. The only way ability storage deactivates is if one of your Pokemon is knocked out, or if another ability is activated, like Intimidate for example. This provides us a way to turn off some of Clay's strongest attacks, bringing in Pokemon that would normally be blown away by ground-type moves to instead thrive in an environment entirely devoid of them. This is our secret weapon against Clay. Here goes nothing. We start the battle with Pip, who is in charge of weakening and crippling Clay's Seismitoad so Liu Kim can go to town. Pip achieves this by firing off a Yawn and then a Grass Knot, putting the Toad to sleep, allowing Liu Kim to switch in and finish it off. Torterra comes in next, and thanks to Liu Kim leveling up, a Never Melt Ice boosted Ice Punch always secures a clean KO. Liu Kim then ends his Reign of Terror by taking out the incoming Mamoswine with a single low kick, clearing out half of Clay's team. This is the reason I consider Brawly a mandatory fight. No other Pokemon can take out half of Clay's team like Medicham can. The fight so far has been pretty standard. Now is where things get funky. Garchomp comes in, and since Mintberry Crunch is no longer with us, I have to figure out a different way through this monstrosity. My plan starts with PP stalling Garchomp out of Earthquakes by swapping back and forth between Zazul and Heidi. This will hopefully make it so that Heidi can take out the dragon with a few Ice Punches, while switching in and out with Trapper Keeper to stay healthy with Regenerator. After successfully stalling out all of the Quakes, Heidi uses Lucky Charm, turning off the possibility of getting crit. We then swap between Trapper Keeper and Heidi once, taking a Brick Break that procs our held Citrus Berry before firing off an Ice Punch. Unfortunately, Sandstorm plus Rough Skin does way more damage to Heidi than I thought, and the line is not looking as great in execution as it did in planning. Heidi eats another Brick Break, and things are looking bleak. But then Heidi clutches up and lands a huge Ice Punch freeze. She's almost knocked out by the Sandstorm and Rough Skin, but she barely holds on, allowing us to switch in and out between Trapper Keeper and Heidi one more time before Heidi finishes off the monster with a final Ice Punch. Nidoking is out next, and since all of its attacks kill Heidi, we're staring down a completely random move. Thankfully, two of Nidoking's moves don't affect Trapper Keeper, so we swap him in and pray. Trapper Keeper comes in on an Earth Power, which not only doesn't affect him, but also sets up ability storage for the rest of the fight, which we need active to deal with Excadrill. My plan for Nidoking is simple. Don't get crit. Trapper Keeper holds on and takes the first Thunderbolt just fine, responding with a Shift Gear, doubling his speed and boosting his attack. He then lands a Gear Grind before dodging yet another crit. Technically, Gear Grind always will kill Nidoking from this range, but it has a 5% chance to miss. Flame Wheel looks like it might KO, but I'm not entirely certain. So, we're gonna ruler strat it, bro. I'm ruler stratting it. It is 1.2. 26.6%. Flame Wheel is 26.8 on a minimum roll, and can't miss. After consulting the almighty ruler, I determine it's worth it to go for Flame Wheel instead of risking a miss. Trapper Keeper heats up, fires it off, and Nidoking falls! Excadrill is out last, but since it can't click Earthquake, Craig is safe to come in and take out Excadrill with a single Sacred Sword. See ya later, cowboy. Badge 5 is ours. After taking down Clay, we head towards the Pokemon World Tournament, taking a detour to enter the underbelly of Relic Castle, where we find and capture a static Volcarona named Mosquito. We then easily sweep through both the PWT and the Team Plasma fights on the Plasma Frigate, then head off towards Mistralton Cave, where we pick up Jimbo the Teddy Ursa. Before we can continue onwards towards Mistralton City, we have to take down our rival in yet another fight. Luckily for us though, he really doesn't put up much of a fight this time around. Lemmywinks takes down Swellow, Bebe takes out Electric, Mimsy handles Camera, Bebe comes back in and takes out Superior, and Heidi ends the fight by mopping the floor with Flygon. After an uneventful journey through Chargestone Cave, we emerge into the sunlight of Mistralton City, home to Skyla, the flying-type gym leader. There's a few things we have to do though before fighting her. First things first, we pick up a few encounters, snagging Manbearpig the Zangoose on Route 7, and Garrison the Mischievous on the top floor of Celestial Tower. After securing our new encounters, we have one more mountain to climb before we can take on Skyla. Colorus waits for us at the foot of Twist Mountain, and this time, he isn't messing around. He's shown up packing a team full of Pokestar Studio creations. These beasts all have base stat totals of 600, being on par with the likes of other pseudo-legendaries like Garchomp, Tyranitar, and Salamence. There are only 4 of them, but that doesn't mean it's easy. One wrong move and this fight can easily snowball, leading to a wipe. We start the fight with Mimsy. Colress's first Pokemon, MT, is holding a red card and knows both Stealth Rock and Whirlwind. So after yawning, we rapid spin away the rocks, activating the red card as MT falls asleep. Mimsy is our guy for taking down this beast though, so we swap back into him and take it out with 2 Earthquakes. F00 is out next, so we pivot through Zazul into Lemmywinks to bait Thunder Wave, activating ability storage on electric moves. This allows me to go into Trapper Keeper and never beat Thunder Wave. I then shift gear up to +3, allowing me to OHKO F00 with high horsepower and the incoming MT2 with superpower. When UFO comes out, it's just a simple swap into Tooth Decay, who, after setting up a curse, OHKOs with Stone Edge. Skyla's gym trainers are certainly no joke, but our team is well enough prepared to handle them, and we end up soaring our way through the fights. We land at the top of the gym, and finally, it's time to take on this demoness of a pilot. This team is, awful to fight. Everything is so fast, everything hits so hard, and it's a triple battle. To make matters even worse, flying type attacks can hit any slot in triple battles, so you can't really even protect Pokemon by hiding them away in corner slots. Aerodactyl is incredibly hard to deal with, Gliscor will decimate your team with Earthquakes, and if Swanna gets in and Friend Guard gets set up, all of her mons get harder to kill. I don't have a safe way through this fight. I'm actually planning to sack 2 Pokemon to Skyla. Hopefully, it only needs to be 2. We start the fight with Liu Kim, Mimsy, and Phonix Monkey against Pidgeot, Gliscor, and Jumpluff. Liu Kim and Mimsy fake out Pidgeot and Gliscor respectively, while Phonix Monkey outspeeds and OHKOs Jumpluff with a Blaze Kick. Aerodactyl comes out next, and it's time for our first sack of the fight. Liu Kim swaps out for Estella, while Phonix Monkey swaps out into Trapper Keeper. Aerodactyl slams Estella with a huge Brave Bird. Gliscor throws out an Earthquake that just hits Mimsy, then it happens. Pidgeot finishes Estella off with a Hurricane. Rest in peace to our Burgh. Because he was hit by Earthquake, Mimsy is then able to respond with a boosted Avalanche, OHKOing the Gliscor. What comes out next determines the ease of this fight. If it's Swanna, we're chilling. If it's Togekiss, we're steering hard. The ball is thrown and we really want to see Swanna here. Well, that's bad. Lemmywinks takes the field in Estella's place, but things aren't looking good. Another sacrifice needs to be made. Mimsy swaps into Phonix Monkey, who instantly falls to a head smash from Arrow. Lemmywinks brings Pidgeot deep into the red with a Shockwave, and then I realize I've messed up. Since Phonix Monkey died, Hyper Voice is now dealing single target damage, not the spread damage I had planned on it doing. This means that Pidgeot one-shots Lemmywinks, putting us in an awful position. The turn ends with Trapper Keeper OHKOing Togekiss with Gear Grind, but we're now in dire straits. Liu Kim and Mimsy come back out as Skyla sends out her Swanna, and it's down to a 3v3. I have a way out, but the odds aren't great. Mimsy and Liu Kim each fire off Fake Outs, stopping Aerodactyl from moving and KOing Pidgeot. The only way Liu Kim survives the turn is if Swanna proceeds to miss Hurricane, and no such luck. Liu Kim falls, then Trapper Keeper takes Aerodactyl down with a Gear Grind. With just Swanna left, Mimsy and Trapper Keeper are able to 2v1 it and clinch a victory. but this badge was unnecessarily bloody. I'm sorry, my fallen friends. You didn't deserve this fate. There's no time to mourn, though. The difficult fights aren't over. There's one more fight blocking our way into late game, and she's not messing around. Before we deal with that, though, we fly to Lentimas Town, heading into the surrounding routes to pick up 2 new encounters. Those encounters are Crab People the Skorupi on the outside of Reversal Mountain, and Katakafish the Shuppet in the Strange House. Walking into Reversal Mountain reveals who's blocking our path, and one look at her team sends me running straight to the calculator in fear. Bianca has not come to play. Her leads of Minshao and Musharna cover each other's weaknesses really well. Her Haxorus not only has a Dragon Gem, but it can also set up with Dragon Dance, and, to top it all off, she has a Fire, Water, Grass core in the back with the 3 fully evolved Unnovan starters. This fight is one of the hardest in the game without the right tools, and I've wiped to it multiple times. I have a plan, but everything needs to go perfectly if I'm going to pull this off. We start the battle with Man, Bear, Pig, and Trapper Keeper. Musharna can set up screens, so we need to kill it right away. We do this by baiting a kill from Musharna into Man, Bear, Pig, then detecting, allowing Trapper Keeper to secure a clean KO on Musharna with Gear Grind. Haxorus is out next, and now, both of Bianca's Pokemon see a kill into Man, Bear, Pig. Mienshao with Close Combat, and Haxorus with either Close Combat or Dragon Claw. This lets us freely switch into Garrison, who is immune to any attacks Bianca may click, allowing Trapper Keeper to set up with a Shift Gear. The next turn is where some of the risk creeps in. Haxorus doesn't see a kill on any Pokemon, and it's slower than Trapper Keeper, so I'm betting it'll click Dragon Dance. Because of this, I fire off a Gear Grind into Mienshao, taking it out, and then plan to KO Haxorus with a Moonblast after it sets up. Unfortunately, Haxorus decides to attack. It's alright though. Garrison eats a Cross Poison and retaliates with the Moonblast to KO. Next up are Serperior and Emboar, but now I have to play a little risky. Trapper Keeper takes Emboar into the red with a high horsepower. Then, Garrison dodges a crit and lives Serperior's Leaf Storm in the red before taking out Emboar with Shadow Ball, bringing in Samurott. This might look like a scary position to be in, but everything is okay. Since Garrison is baiting kills from both slots, we're able to swap him into Mabel, soaking up a pitiful Aqua Jet before Trapper Keeper takes the Serpent out with a critical Gear Grind. Samurott is left alone and helpless on the field, succumbing to a Gear Grind plus Play Rough combo from my Pokemon. Bianca's fall heralds our arrival into the late game. Here we go. Hi. You may be wondering what that was all about. Well, basically, after writing the next part of the script, my editor and I realized we didn't save the VOD with the gameplay footage corresponding to what was written. So essentially, there's no footage from right after Bianca up until right before Opus City. Sorry. Instead of gameplay, please enjoy this quick recap of who we fought, who we caught, and who died. We make it through the rest of Reversal Mountain unscathed, emerge into Undella Town, then catch Gelgamek the Remoraid in Undella Town, Towie the Mantike in Undella Bay, Cartman the Spheal in Seaside Cave, Kenny the Absol on Route 14, Fluffy the Cottony in the Abundant Shrine, and finally, Frog King the Poliwag in the Abundant Shrine Grotto. A quick note about the grottos. They're essentially a separate encounter you can cash in at any time. The Pokemon you find inside the grotto remain there until you initiate a battle with them, so you typically want to wait until you've checked most of the available grottos before taking your singular grotto encounter. All of the grotto Pokemon also have their hidden abilities. This is why I choose to take Poliwag. Once fully evolved, Politoed will have the Drizzle ability, and that's just too good for me to pass up on. We then fight Hugh in Undella Town, but he doesn't even begin to put up a fight. We proceed to catch Dildo Schwaggins the Tangela on Route 13 before making it to Lacanosa Town and easily defeating Zinzolin in a tag battle with Hugh. Finally, we grab Classy the Beautifly on Route 12, then face off against Benga. This is actually a really hard fight, and we get a bit unlucky, so we end up losing Towie during it. Okay, we're caught back up. Thank you for pardoning the interruption, and please enjoy as we return you to your regularly scheduled D-Muse programming. After defeating Benga, we continue on our path towards Opus City, passing through a couple routes on our way. These routes are the Village Bridge, where we pick up Wendy the Illumise, and Route 11, where we pick up Mysterion the Shellman. Once we've made it to Oplucid, we take one final pit stop on Route 9 to pick up Mr. Hat the Swallow. We then clear out all of Drayden's gym trainers easily before we have to make another decision. You see, there is another Hoenn gym leader who's waiting for us here in Oplucid City, and if we can defeat her, we gain access to the storage room in the mall on Route 9. This would let us capture Rotom, who is an amazing encounter, but this gym leader's not going to go down easy. Winona must be fought in a double battle, with the battle starting out in the rain. This is perfect for her, since she's running a rain team. Her Mantine has Swift Swim, and 2/3 of her team know Hurricane, which cannot miss in the rain. Even if you manage to change the weather, she has a Pelipper in the back with Drizzle ready to nullify your efforts upon switching in. I've passed up on this fight before, deeming it not worth the risk, but Rotom just has so much utility throughout the rest of the run that this time, I decide to send it. We start the fight with Tooth Decay and Mysterion. Tooth Decay's Sandstream ability instantly turns off the rain, weakening Mantine in regards to both its strength and speed. Mysterion is baiting a Hurricane kill from both Mons, so he protects while Tooth Decay fires off a Rock Tomb into Mantine, bringing it deep into the red. Mysterion then switches into Wilziak as Dragonite fires off a Hurricane into her before she heals back up from Mantine's Hydro Pump. Tooth Decay ends the turn by Rock Tombing Dragonite. We then swap Tooth Decay into Fluffy to eat what is hopefully an Earthquake from Dragonite. And since Mantine is now slower than Wilziak after being Rock Tombed, we're able to Volt Switch into Trapper Keeper to take the kill. Dragonite ends the turn with a pitiful Earthquake before Altaria comes out. Altaria sees a Brave Bird kill on Fluffy, so we swap her into Wilziak to eat the attack while Trapper Keeper finishes off Dragonite with a Gear Grind, bringing in Rotom Fan. Wilziak swaps into Kristoff before Altaria can fire off an Earthquake, but since it crits, our line crumbles. Kristoff doesn't have the HP to safely stay in against Rotom now. Trapper Keeper does finish Altaria off with a Gear Grind, and Rotom fires an ineffective Thunder into Kristoff, but things are looking very scary as Pelipper comes in and sets the rain back up. On the next turn, we swap Trapper Keeper into Fluffy as Kristoff takes Pelipper out with a Thunder Fang. If Rotom targets Kristoff with Air Slash, there are a few rolls that can kill him. Pelipper falls and... Don't Air Slash me, and if you do, don't High Roll. Phew. After Fluffy holds, Drifloon comes out. Fluffy is technically dead to both Thunder and Air Slash, but I have no other play than to swap into Tooth Decay and hope it's Air Slash. This lets us set the sand back up before Kristoff takes Drifloon out with a single crunch. Rotom then thankfully ends the turn by hitting Tooth Decay with a very weak Air Slash. In order to win from here, we need Tooth Decay to not only dodge a crit Thunder, but also hit a Stone Edge. On the next turn, after Kristoff switches into Trapper Keeper, Winona proceeds to throw, instructing Rotom to use Rain Dance. This allows our pile of rocks to land Stone Edge, taking Rotom out and winning us the battle. We happily reap the rewards, heading over to the shopping mall and picking up Tupperware the Rotom. Now, it's Drayden time. Just at a glance, this fight looks terrifying. It's a double battle against blisteringly fast dragon types that threaten to outspeed and take out all of my Pokemon. Some of the standout hurdles in this fight are the Yachi Berry Salamence, the Unburden plus Focus Sash Sceptile, and of course, the lead Latias. You also have to be very careful about using Intimidate to weaken Drayden's Mons if Charizard is still on the field, since its Defiant ability will give it a +2 to its attack whenever its stats are lowered. In my mind, there's only one real way through this fight. We need to overwhelm the dragons with our offense. We start the fight with our GOAT Trapper Keeper and Kenny, who is purposefully underleveled. Kenny is baiting kills from both Latias and Charizard, so he protects while Trapper Keeper smacks Latias with a Gear Grind, which crucially does not crit. On our next turn, we swap Kenny into Fluffy to eat the Aura Sphere and Dragon Claw. We would really like Fluffy to dodge a crit from Latias' Aura Sphere here. Did not dodge a crit. This makes things more difficult down the road, but we'll just have to hope for the best. Trapper Keeper ends the turn by setting up a Shift Gear. On the next turn, Trapper Keeper takes Latias down with a Gear Grind, while Fluffy U-turns Charizard to bring in our Sacrificial Lamb, Classy. In her first battle ever, she switches in and dies to Fire Lash, providing us with the tempo we need to keep going. We send Fluffy back in as Haxorus hits the field. Trapper Keeper takes Charizard out with a high horsepower before Fluffy, who's baiting exactly Cross Poison from Haxorus, U-turns into Pip, causing Haxorus to do no damage. Pip then takes some chip from its held Sticky Barb before Flygon comes in. Because of that Sticky Barb chip, Flygon will always see a kill on Pip with exactly high horsepower, and Haxorus with exactly close combat. My plan is to swap into Fluffy and take both attacks, but since she got crit earlier, she has about a 1 in 8 chance to just outright die here, even if neither of the dragons crit. I have to take it though. Fluffy switches in, Trapper Keeper shift gears for a second time, and hold. Okay. He rolled high enough. Don't get it. He didn't get it. Fluffy, I love you. Since she holds, the fight remains on track. Trapper Keeper takes Flygon out with a Gear Grind, while Fluffy takes out Haxorus with a Moonblast. Drayden then sends in his last two Mons, Sceptile and Salamence, but I'm not worried. We swap Fluffy into Tooth Decay before another Gear Grind takes out Sceptile. Then Salamence hits Tooth Decay with a very weak Flamethrower. Trapper Keeper is then free to fire off one final gear grind, taking down Salamence and ending the fight. Badge 7, acquired. Before we head to Humalau City, we've got to deal with some more Team Plasma shenanigans, as they freeze over Opelucid City. This culminates with us facing off once more against Zinzalin, but what he doesn't know is that this is the split where Coach Connors comes online. Our Fire Chicken proceeds to take out 4 of Zinzalin's 5 Pokemon single-handedly, before Craig comes in to finish off his Weavile. After a simple trip through the Marine Tube, we arrive in Humalau City before running around to pick up a couple more encounters. This includes Cupid Me the Love Disc in Humalau City, Moses the Staryu on Route 21, and a shiny Surskit named Marklar on Route 22. Despite being a first encounter shiny, which is awesome, Masquerain really doesn't provide anything for my box. I was looking for a Lotad here to potentially have a Swift Swim Grass type for Marlon, especially since Cupid Me lost the ability coin flip and ended up with Hydration, not Swift Swim. Moses is pretty sick though. With our encounters nabbed, there's only one thing left to do before facing Marlon, and that is to fight Tate and Liza. The Psychic-type twins from Hoenn set up shop just outside the Pokemon Center in Humalau, and if you can beat them, you're rewarded with the Protect TM, an invaluable resource. They don't make it easy though. This battle is an 8v6, with both Tate and Liza bringing 4 Pokemon each to the fight. It was a crazy battle, and I forgot to click off of the calculator screen for the entire thing. So, there's no footage of this fight. Just me staring at a screen with noises in the background. Sorry. We won deathless though, just trust me. It's now time to take on the final gym leader of Unova, Marlon. Just like Winona, Marlon is running a rain team, except this time, all of his Pokemon are able to take full advantage of the downpour that starts at the beginning of the battle. 4 of his Pokemon have Swift Swim, making it near impossible to outspeed them. His Kingdra threatens insane damage with Water Gem boosted, Rain boosted Muddy Waters. His Starmie fires off devastating Hydro Pumps and Thunders. His Poliwrath can put you to sleep with Lovely Kiss, and even if you manage to get rid of the rain, his Pelipper can come in with its Drizzle ability and set it back up. I don't have any of the typical tools I've used for this fight in the past. I'm balling hard and just hoping it works out for me. We start the fight with Jimbo and Tooth Decay versus Ludicolo and Poliwrath. Tooth Decay gets rid of the rain with his Sandstream ability, while Jimbo baits kills from both Ludi and Wrath. This means that while Jimbo protects, Tooth Decay freely swaps into Garrison. We then swap Jimbo into Heidi, while Garrison one-shots Poliwrath with Moonblast before Heidi eats a Hydro Pump. Kingdra is then out next, and things go haywire. Because Hydro Pump rolled really high into Heidi, Kingdra now sees a kill with both Muddy Water and Hydro Pump, meaning it's no longer safe for Garrison to set up Nasty Plot and sweep. We're about to go off track here. I decide my safest option is to take out the Kingdra and steer our way to the end of the fight. We protect Heidi from the incoming Hydro Pump while Garrison takes Kingdra out with a Moonblast, taking even more damage from Life Orb and Sandstorm Chip. Pelipper then comes in and sets back up the rain, making Ludicolo the fastest mon around, and I only really have one play. Heidi needs to go down so I can safely set up the sand. So, after Garrison protects, Heidi is taken out by Ludicolo's Hydro Pump, allowing Tooth Decay to come back in at the end of the turn and set the sand back up. I have to keep the tempo in this fight though, so I have to make a risky play. Tooth Decay instantly swaps out into Bebe, while Garrison fires a Thunderbolt into Pelipper. Because of its held Wakanberry, this only has a 50% chance to kill. The bolt comes down and... it's a coin flip. Yes! Yes! While this is incredibly lucky, what happens next isn't as lucky. Since Ludicolo did not see a kill onto Gigalith, it targets my Pokemon at random, and unfortunately, it lands on Garrison, taking him out with a Hydro Pump. Despite these losses, we're now staring down a 4v3 with Rain no longer being a threat. This is winnable. Jimbo then comes in besides Bebe to face down Starmie and Ludi. He's baiting Hydro Pump from both Mons, so he's able to safely protect while Bebe Giga Drains Starmie into the yellow. At least, that's what I'd like to say happens. What actually happens, and I don't realize why until a few turns later, is that Ludicolo, who has run out of Hydro Pump PP, clicks a random move on a random target, blasting Bebe with an Ice Beam that brings her deep into the yellow before her Citrus Berry procs. Had I realized Ludi was out of pumps, I could have simply taken it out before it attacked, but since I didn't, I'm left fumbling. I have to gamble next turn, praying Starmie targets Jimbo and not Bebe. It does, taking down our bear before Bebe retaliates with a Giga Drain to take down the Starfish. But the turn ends with Ludicolo freezing Bebe right into the grave. It's now a 2v2, and the things aren't looking great. Craig and Tooth Decay now have to clutch up against Ludicolo and Kabutops. I protect both of my mons to get another turn of Sandstorm Chip against Ludicolo, bringing it even lower. I then make another misplay, being so panicked and frazzled that I fail to notice Craig is simply faster than Ludicolo. So I go for what I think has to be Aqua Jet instead of Sacred Sword, which barely misses the KO. That's the game. We didn't do 5%. We wipe. Oh! Oh, he didn't Giga Drain! He didn't Giga Drain! He didn't Giga Drain! Oh my god! What? Why didn't he Giga Drain? We win! We're not dead! Holy... Thankfully, due to it clicking a random move instead of Hydro Pumps, Ludi uses Aura Sphere, not Giga Drain, causing it to fall to Sandstorm at the end of the turn. This allows us to protect Tooth Decay on the following turn, while Craig brings Kabutops down to its held Focus Sash, finishing off the Fossil on the next turn with an Aqua Jet, and securing us our final gym badge in what was undoubtedly the worst showing I've had at a gym all run. Even though my mental game is completely out of whack, Redux gives me no time to rest. Directly after Marlon lies a tough stretch of Team Plasma boss battles, with a bunch of Plasma grunts littered in between them. Now, I'd love to tell you I breezed through all of the grunts, making it to Zinzalin in no time, but... What? It's Hustle. There goes an E4 mon! Yeah. I walked into one of the optional grunts, got crit while switching in, then I was slower than the grunts Raticate and lost Kristoff, a potential E4 mon. That feels really bad, but not quite as bad as what happens next. And I'm not leveled up. No way! No fucking way! Yep. Another optional. Another death. I was on my way to change Rotom's form in the mall and wasn't used to the ice on Route 9. Who knew Houndoom could learn Destiny Bond? Ironically enough, the tag battle with Hugh against Zinzalin back on the frigate goes swimmingly, and we make it through deathless. Turns out, optionals are harder than one of the 7 sages. We then follow the Plasma Frigate over to the Giant Chasm, picking up Kelly the Clefairy before heading onto the ship for the final time. Thankfully, no optionals get in our way this time, and we make it to the final Zinzalin fight unscathed. This time around, Zinzalin has actually built a proper team, and he's ready to put up a fight. This fight is a double battle, and Zinzalin's trying to play a hail team. His biggest threats are Mamoswine, Weavile, and Frostlass, all of whom do big damage and take advantage of the hail. Thankfully, I have a fiery little trick up my sleeve. We lead with Coach Connors and Mimsy, faking out Vanillux to break its Focus Sash and OHKOing Cryogonal with a close combat, bringing in Mamoswine. We're then able to Flame Charge Vanillux to finish it off and get a speed boost, before OHKOing Mamoswine with a single Scald from Mimsy. We're then hoping to see Walrein and Frostlass come in next, but unfortunately, Zinzalin sends out Weavile and Frostlass instead. This causes us to switch Mimsy into Craig while Coach Connors protects. Coach Connors now needs to dodge a crit if Weavile decides to target him, but it's our only play. Our chicken takes Frostlass out with another Flame Charge, and thankfully Weavile targets Craig with Night Slash, allowing him to take it down with a Sacred Sword. Walrein is out last, but both my Pokemon outspeed it, so she stands no chance. Yet another example of why Blaziken is so good. There's no rest for the wicked though, and we immediately have to fight Colress next. Unfortunately for him, this is a much easier fight than when his team was full of Pokestar Studio monsters, and we don't struggle at all. Taking out Beheeyem with Mosquito, Rotom Wash with Fluffy, Metagross with Butters, Klinklang with Butters, Porygon Z with Tooth Decay, and lastly, Magnezone with Tupperware. You really should have stuck with the fake mons, Colress. Later, nerd. Team Plasma's last bastion of leadership, Getsis, awaits us in the next room. He wimps out before we can fight him though, running off and leaving us to battle his lackeys, the Shadow Triad. These are 3 separate fights, being a single battle, double battle, and rotation battle respectively. The single and double battles go off without a hitch, but rotation battles suck. A lot. There is absolutely zero way to predict when the AI will rotate their Pokemon, making lines almost impossible to safely find. Despite the unpredictability of rotation battles, I get the final Shadow Triad member all the way down to their last Pokemon before disaster strikes. Its random move, Aqua Jet crit, can kill me. So I just pivot back and forth between Pokemon and Protect now. that's how that works. Okay, didn't realize that would fail. If I get crit here, I die. I don't ever do rotation battles, and as such, I didn't know that the protect turns don't reset upon rotating your Pokemon. What I thought was a completely safe rotation into Butters for protect instead turns into Butters dying. Goodbye to yet another E4 viable Pokemon. I have so much rage built up inside me from this split now, and there's only one man I want to take it all out on. We chase Getsis into his cave, but he's ready for us, and his team is horrifying. He's got the ability to set up Trick Room. He's got the ability to set up with Dragon Dance. His Genesect has a Focus Sash and gets a download boost upon switching. His Machamp has No Guard Dynamic Punch. The list just goes on and on and on. To top it all off, we have to lead with something that deals not only with Getsis' lead Cofagrigus, but also with Zekrom Black, since we're not able to edit our team in between taking it down and taking on the big man. With the sheer amount of deaths I've incurred up until this point, I don't have a completely safe line with this fight. We just have to risk a couple things, but I really don't have another choice. Team Plasma has to fall. We start the battle against Cheren Black with Trapper Keeper, taking it out with a single gear grind after setting up a shift gear. The actual Getsis battle follows, but Trapper Keeper isn't our guy to take down his lead Cofagrigus. Instead, we swap straight into Catatafish, risking a Will-O-Wisp burn, but the Sarcophagus thankfully sets up a Trick Room. Our plan is to stall out the turns of Trick Room, taking Cofagrigus down on the last turn it's up, but for some unknown reason, Cofagrigus simply sets the speed of the battle back to normal with another Trick Room, allowing us to finish it off with 2 Shadow Claws. This brings in Hydreigon next, and we simply swap into Cupid Me before nuking the dragon with a Life Orb boosted Draining Kiss. Electros is in third, and we swap into Tupperware on a Wild Charge, activating ability storage. We then Volt Switch back into Cupid Me as Electros coils. Since Electros can no longer click Wild Charge, we're free to take it out with 2 Draining Kisses. That brings out Machamp next, who's OHKO'd by Moonblast. Remember when I said Moonblast Fairy types were really good in this game? I wasn't lying. Genesect is tired of our games though, swapping in and getting an attack boost from download. We swap into Klinklang on an Iron Head and take a soft Ice Beam before Volt switching out into Coach Connors, importantly breaking its Focus Sash. Now that Coach Connors is in, as long as he dodges an Iron Head flinch, we're chilling. The Techno Bug charges in with a strong Iron Head, but Coach Connors stands strong, shrugging it off and taking out the beast with a Flame Charge. Gyarados is out last, but since it's Moxie and not Intimidate, Coach Connors is able to take it out with a single Thunder Punch, wiping Team Plasma off the face of the earth for good. Now it's just a mad dash to get to the Pokemon League. On our way there, we pick up Heroin Dragon the Tropius on Route 23 and Chokesondic the Excadrill in Victory Road. Normally, that would be that, and we'd enter the Pokemon League and start preparing for the Elite Four. Redux throws us one more curveball though. Lance and the Weather Trainers. Waiting for you right before the entrance to the Pokemon League are Lance and 4 Ace Trainers. 5 fights must be completed to pass, mimicking the style of the Elite Four in Champion Battle. The Ace Trainers are fought in 2 sets of back-to-back fights. Then, you take down Lance in a single battle. The final stipulation is that all 4 Ace Trainers have a different Weather team, thus creating the Weather Gauntlet. The first back-to-back we have to fight is against Carol and Elmer, the Hail and Sun Trainers. Carol has a horrifying Focus Sash Weavile, an Ice Gem Jinx, and an awful Shell-Smashing Cloyster. Elmer somehow is the scarier of the 2 fights though, being able to set up rocks with his lead Torkoal, nuke anything with his Fire Gem Darmanitan, disrupt your tempo with Eject Button Ninetales, and set up and sweep you with Focus Sash Volcarona. My planning for these fights leads us to align little with risk, but there's nothing to be done. The run must go on. Thankfully, most of Carol's team is trivialized by Mosquito. We delayed Relic Castle in order to get this Fiery Moth, in big parts thanks to this fight alone. We lead with Tooth Decay to get rid of the Hail, then swap straight into Mosquito, set up a Quiver Dance, and proceed to one-shot Abomasnow with Fiery Dance, Vanillux with Fiery Dance, and Cloyster with Bug Buzz before having to swap as Weavile comes out. We respond by sending back in Tooth Decay. He does take down Weavile with a Rock Tomb, but due to an unlucky Icicle Crash flinch, he takes more damage than expected, causing the incoming Reuniclus to see KOs with both Psychic and Energy Ball. Mosquito swaps back in, and luckily, Reuniclus goes for a pitiful Energy Ball, allowing Mosquito to set up another Quiver Dance, then take down both Reuniclus and Jinx with a Bug Buzz. Elmer is not going to be nearly as easy though. Thanks to his held Iron Ball, Tooth Decay is slower than Elmer's Torkoal. This means that as the battle starts, we get the Sand Up, turning off Torkoal's Solar Beams. The plan is to go into Mimsy and Rapid Spin away the rocks, switching back in after proccing the red card, then setting up and sweeping. Unfortunately, I didn't fully think the plan through. Although I successfully get a Shell Smash off with Mimsy, I do it while Stealth Rocks are still up and my Chesto Berry is already gone. I have to then decide whether or not I can afford to spin away the rocks and fall asleep, or just start taking kills. After a lot of deliberation, I decide my only chance is to play aggressive. Mimsy takes out both Torkoal and Ninetales with Earthquake before Victory Bell comes out, seeing a kill with Solar Beam. To counteract this, I swap into Frog King, setting up the rain and making Solar Beam a 2-turn move. Then, I swap into Coach Connors, who eats the Solar Beam and takes out Victory Bell with a Brave Bird. He then takes out Darmanitan with an Earthquake, and finally, he also takes out Venusaur with a Brave Bird. Unfortunately, since the Stealth Rocks went up, we took enough damage to put us into random move range from the incoming Volcarona. This means Tooth Decay comes in on a random move, which thankfully ends up being Fiery Dance that doesn't boost. We then go into Mosquito, hoping to see Giga Drain, but unfortunately, the bug sets up with Quiver Dance. It's okay though. I swap into Craig on a Fiery Dance and just plan to KO with Aqua Jet. And then I realized my mistake. Since Coach Connors was baiting random moves and the Stealth Rocks were up, I couldn't safely swap into Mosquito like I had planned. Because of that, I went into Tooth Decay. Unfortunately, that turned off the rain, meaning Craig's Aqua Jet is no longer a guaranteed kill. We're now staring down a Quiver Danced Volcarona that can hit my entire team super effectively. After a long hard look at the calculator, I find my only way out. We send out Coach Connors to die to Stealth Rock, stopping Volcarona from healing up with Giga Drain. We then send in Frog King, setting the rain back up, before swapping into Mosquito to also die to the Stealth Rocks, denying yet another Giga Drain heal. This allows Craig to come in and take out the bug with Aqua Jet. The rocks ended up mattering immensely. I made the wrong call earlier in the fight, and it came back to bite me. But we're so close. We cannot give up. Portia and Sterling are next, being the Rain and Sand trainers respectively. Swift Swim is always scary to play around, and Portia has good type diversity, bringing along an Electrode and a Scizor to balance out her otherwise water-heavy team. She promises to be a challenging puzzle to solve. Sterling is no walk in the park either. Remember the clay fight? Now imagine that with a Clefable and a Tyranitar. Yeah, not so fun! We start by fighting Portia, leading Tupperware against her Pelipper. Due to our held magnet, Thunderbolt always kills, bringing out Seismitoad. Since the rain is up, Seismitoad is faster than us, so we swap into Tooth Decay on either an Ice Punch or Sludge Wave, setting up the sand. This baits Earthquake, so we can freely swap back into Tupperware and take out the Toad with the Leaf Storm, even through its held Rindo Berry. Electrode is in next, which isn't what I planned for. I made the mistake of not changing Rotom's form in the calculator, so this line and the next line are all wonky. I end up having to steer, so we swap into Cupid Me on a Bug Buzz, then into Chokesondick on a Thunder. Since Electrode is holding an Air Balloon, Chokesondick has to dodge an Aura Sphere crit before taking out the orb. But that's not a problem for our mole, and she takes out the spherical trash. Portia's fourth Mon is Politoed, who comes in and sets the rain back up. Wilziak switches in freely on a Hydro Pump, and we need to dodge 2 Hypnosises. Politoed hits the first, but we wake up thanks to our held Chesto Berry. Wilziak then clutches up and dodges the second, finishing off Politoed with a Volt Switch into Tooth Decay, setting the sand back up. Kingdra comes in and is clicking Hydro Pump, so it's back to Wilziak, who is immune. Then, we swap into Cupid Me on the Dragon Pulse and take out Kingdra with a Moonblast, bringing Scizor in last. We respond by swapping into Mimsy, who dodges a crit and chunks Scizor with Water Spout. Then, we swap through Chokesondick into Wilziak, who just has to dodge a crit U-turn for us to win. Unfortunately, she doesn't, and as she falls, my world begins to crumble. We still have a whole other battle to get through. Can I even do that with 5 Pokemon? We're able to finish off Scizor with Tupperware and Tooth Decay, winning us the battle, but now we're staring down Sterling with a crippled team. I can't lose again. I've wiped in Victory Road twice. I've spent so many runs in early game Purgatory. This has to be the run. I can't wipe here. We start the fight against Sterling, leading Tupperware against Hippowdon. Tupperware instantly takes out the Hippo with a Leaf Storm, and Sterling responds by sending out Nidoking. So we swap into Chokesondick, who is immune to Nidoking's Sludge Wave. This allows us to safely OHKO it with Earthquake. Garchomp is out next, so we swap into Tupperware on an Earthquake, activating ability storage. We then swap into Cupid Me, who freely takes out Garchomp with a Surf into Draining Kiss. Clefable is in fourth, so we swap into Chokesondick and OHKO it with a Smart Strike. Then Excadrill comes in, and yet again, Chokesondick has to clutch up against an Air Balloon Mon. Ability storage is still active, so after popping its balloon with Smart Strike, Chokesondick only dies to Iron Head crit or Iron Head flinch. Thankfully, neither happens, and Chokesondick not only takes out Excadrill with Earthquake, but also the incoming Tyranitar, ending our Weather Gauntlet. We are so close. One fight till PB. There's a reason I've wiped a Lance before. His team of dragons puts Drayden's to shame. Better coverage, better Pokemon, and better items means a better chance of him sending us back to Nimbasa City. 4 of his Pokemon have setup moves. Aerodactyl can disrupt your lines with Stealth Rock, and Haxorus stops sweeps with its red card. This will be tough. We lead with Trapper Keeper against Aerodactyl, and Volt Switch into Moses to break the beast's sash. Moses is then able to take it out with a Scald. Salamence is in next, and due to our held Life Orb, Moses is able to OHKO it with Ice Beam. Dragonite comes out third, and is clicking a guaranteed Outrage. We go back into Trapper Keeper and set up a Shift Gear, dodging 2 crits. Unfortunately, I misunderstood how multi-scale works, so instead of dying to a single Gear Grind, Dragonite lives in the red before firing off a 3rd Outrage. Trapper Keeper isn't called the GOAT for no reason though. He holds on and dodges all 3 Outrage crits before taking out Dragonite with Gear Grind. Haxorus then hits the field, and it's clicking guaranteed close combat, so we swap into Cupid, who OHKOs it with a Moonblast. I then find out that Red Card doesn't activate if the Pokemon holding it faints, so instead of being swapped into a random Pokemon like I planned, Cupid Me is still on the field as Charizard comes out. I have to swap, but Charizard can set up here. I go into Craig, praying for an Iron Tail, but instead we see the dragon begin to dance. I can't two-shot this thing safely, so I opt to just go for close combat to get as much damage off as I can before I inevitably have to sack somebody. But Craig defies all logic and crits close combat, taking Charizard out in a single hit. This brings in Gyarados last, and we can safely swap into Starmie, who outspeeds Gyarados even after a Dragon Dance and OHKOs it with Thunderbolt. After 6 months, we are finally 1 fight away from the Pokemon League. You know who that last fight is? That's right, it's Hugh. You know who's a pushover? That's right, it's Hugh! Swellow and Serperior fall to Moses. Electros falls to Mimsy after ability storage is activated with Tupperware. Camerupt falls to Mimsy. Flygon falls to Mabel. And finally, Starmie falls to Cornwallis. As Hugh steps aside, we walk through the exit of the cave and into the Pokemon League for the first, and hopefully, only time. The Redux Elite Four is one of the hardest series of battles I've ever had to face in any Pokemon game. Every type of battle style is represented in one of the fights, aside from rotation battles, with Grimsley and Iris challenging you to single battles, Marshall and Caitlyn challenging you to double battles, and Chantal challenging you to a triple battle. Finding a consistent line through every single fight was nearly impossible for me. What I end up with is not risk-free, but after watching this video, that really shouldn't surprise you. Playing risklessly just isn't the DMU7 way. Our Elite Four team revolves around one Pokemon, Mimsy, the Nuke. Having both Shell Smash and Water Spout, Mimsy is capable of setting up and then wiping the other side of the field without harming his partner. He is a force of nature that only gets stronger with the help of his teammates. The second member of our team is yet another water starter. The last one to be added to the Elite Four team, he's here to do 2 very specific things, but without his exact skill set, we'd be lost in the sauce. Our second team member is Craig, the Crutch. Craig gives us the best chance we have to beat Grimsley, and he allows us a riskless line through Marshall if the Grimsley fight goes correctly. He's been with us all game, and now he's going to take us home. Member number 3 should be no surprise to any of you. They've also been with us since nearly the beginning of the run. When a boss fight arises, this Pokemon answers the call. Of course they were coming to the Elite Four. Our third team member is Trapper Keeper, the God Slayer. Trapper Keeper is here to wrap up the Grimsley fight and then put in some good work against the champion, Iris. They're also ready to jump into action against Caitlyn should our initial plan go awry. Next up is our fourth team member. He hasn't come to many battles this run, but his exact set of skills is just what we need for Grimsley and Iris. He's fast, he's buggy, he's Mysterion, the Speed Demon. Aselgor is just such a fast Pokemon, and both of Iris' fastest Mons are weak to Bug, so he's ready to take some names. He also has Final Gambit in case a sacrifice needs to be made, as it is well known that Mysterion does not fear death. Our penultimate team member is here to play the role of support. He's only left the box a few times, but every time he's come out, he's thoroughly rained on the enemy's parade, making Mimsy even stronger by setting up the rain with Drizzle. Our fifth member is Frog King, the God of Rain. You know what's scarier than a +2, 150 base power Life Orb boosted Water Spout from Mimsy? A +2, 150 base power Life Orb boosted Water Spout from Mimsy in the rain Frog King's Drizzle is what takes Mimsy from a landmine to a nuke. Finally, taking the final slot on our team is another lightning quick Pokemon. He's ready to take on both Chantal and Iris with insane coverage and nearly a maxed out speed stat due to his nature and IVs. Our 6th and final team member is Moses, the Shining Star. This Starmie is simply too fast to not bring to this Elite Four. Not only does it have insane coverage and ridiculous speed, but its water attacks are also boosted by Frog King's Rain, so there was no way I could leave him behind. These 6 warriors have trained for this moment. They trust in me just as I trust in them, and they're willing to put their lives on the line to take us to victory. Let me show you how they did. We have to do Grimsley first. He was the last one I planned, and I just couldn't get around it. And we're essentially risking a couple crits on Grimsley, but if we can get past him, then we're going to Caitlyn for sure. There's a couple things that can go wrong in this fight that don't ruin us, but just make odds worse. So we're really hoping for a couple unique things, and I will explain them as we go. All right. First fight. The first turn here is very, 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 very important. This Crocodile can never crit kill us with Earthquake, so we're going to Shell Smash in its face to pick up 2 KOs. But it has Stealth Rock. If this thing clicks Stealth Rock, it sets up a wipe condition. Just click Earthquake. That's really good. That's really, really good. That is really good. So the reason why that matters as well, besides from not having Stealth Rock up for a later line, Aselgor is switching in later. So if Stealth Rock had gone up, Aselgor would switch in and then die to 18% of Sludge Bomb rolls. Without Stealth Rock, Aselgor never dies. So, without Stealth Rock, this becomes a lot safer. Mimsy is going to pick up 2 KOs here. The first one on Crocodile with Surf. This Honchkrow doesn't have Sucker Punch and always dies to Mystic Water Surf at +2. So Mimsy picks up 2 KOs. Now, the second reason that Earthquake from Crocodile was really, really important is because now the Sharpedo that comes in sees a guaranteed kill on Mimsy with either Crunch or Close Combat. Here's the second weird part of this fight. Craig needs to come in and take enough damage to bait properly in the Martial fight while also being out of kill range from this Zoroark. So we really, 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 really want to see Close Combat be clicked here. It's 50-50 for Close Combat or Crunch. If it's Crunch, we have to do some weird stalling. But if it's Close Combat, it's really good. Okay, okay. Don't defense drop me. Okay. The reason we have to, you'd think, oh, it has Close Combat. It's going to click Close Combat first turn, or every time. It is most damage, but AI has some weird quirks with Close Combat in this game where sometimes it just won't click it. I don't entirely know why, but it, like, after it's clicked it once, sometimes it just won't click it. So, this thing is Focus Sash. We Sacred Sword it down to Sash. This is the reason why Samurott knows Focus Energy. Because this thing can now just randomly protect and randomly click moves that aren't Close Combat, even though Close Combat is most damage. So, what I need to do is stall out for a position. See, it can just randomly click Protect. I need to stall out for a position where it clicks Close Combat one more time. So I'm going to click Focus Energy, and then as soon as I get hit by another Close Combat, I'm Shell Armor, so I never die. As soon as I get clicked by Close Combat, I can then kill with Aqua Jet. See, it can random move Waterfall here. That is 1 HP too high. That's really bad. Politoed takes the same amount of damage from Close Combat and Crunch does more. I think I have to go Politoed here and dodge a crit to then bait Crunch back in. That's what I have to do. The Drizzle shouldn't mess anything up. That's fine. This is now either Protect or Crunch. Because Crunch does 109, Close Combat does 108, so it'll always go for most damage Crunch. The reason I'm being so specific about this, thank you, Sharpedo. Okay, we're good. We're good. The reason I was being so specific about this, chat, is because I need to be below 97 HP, because after a leftovers tick, I need to be at or below 117 HP in order to bait close combat from Marshall. So now it always sees close combat kill, it'll go for it. I can kill with Aqua Jet. That was the scariest part of the fight. The entire reason we did this is because now Zoroark comes in here and doesn't see guaranteed kill with Sludge Bomb. So it can, now this is not Drapion, this is Zoroark. Because it doesn't see guaranteed kill, it can Nasty Plot, which takes away the crit risk on Mysterion. That's the entire reason we did that. Just Nasty Plot. You don't see kill, just Nasty Plot. Just Nasty Plot. Yes! 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 That's the entire reason we did that. So now Samurott is pre-damaged properly, and it Nasty Plotted, so we outspeed and kill with Bug Buzz. Unfortunately, the fight is not over. T-Tar sees guaranteed Stone Edge kill. Were you turning out? This Stone Edge can crit us, and we still won't wipe. But it would be bad if it did. Just miss Stone Edge, and we're home free. Okay, don't crit. Okay, crit. Because of that crit, we have to hit a 60% range now. So this thing doesn't see kill. It's gonna Dragon Dance after us. +1. Metal Coat. Kling Clang. Always kills this Tyranitar. But because of that crit, Crunch at +1 does 103 minimum. So it's always clicking Crunch to kill us, which means we have to kill with Gear Grind here. It hits. Alright. This whole line was made for the Drapion. Oh, I like never KO here. I think I have to just let Trapper Keeper die here and go for a different line in the champion fight. I don't see a different way through. Because of that crit. There's no safe way to get through. I could crit as well. I just have to go for it. Or hit the 6% range. Or he risky AIs into Night Slash, which can happen. I don't think that's the range. Nah. He didn't, oh my god, he didn't see kill! Oh my god, he didn't see kill! Oh my god, he didn't see kill! What the f***? Okay, don't miss. Yes! Oh my god, there must be something Storm Throw doesn't see it critting. There must be something where Storm Throw doesn't see the crits. Okay, okay, we got lucky there. We got really lucky there. We're not done. Alright, next two fights, free. Free, and I've planned them out perfectly. You're gonna love this. I have to be very careful who I heal here, not Craig, and that everyone else can get healed. The only Pokemon in which I need items for this fight are Mimsy and Politoed. And Politoed is going to get the Toxic Orb. Because, my friends, this is where we start to stall. So I need Politoed pre-damaged for Caitlyn to work. But the only way I can consistently do this is to get Politoed poisoned on this fight. And I need to get Starmie pre-damaged on this fight. So we're doing both. And you're going to see how. Kia! So, the entire reason we did that Grimsley line is so that Samurott was at the HP where it exactly baited double close combat kill from these Pokemon. I needed something because I couldn't bring Absol because it couldn't deal with Grimsley. Samurott dealt with, I needed the only Pokemon in my box that dealt with Sharpedo and also could bait was Craig. So, Craig is baiting close combats. We're gonna protect into the close combats and Shell Smash with Mimsy. Perfect. Now, this thing is Focus Sashed, which is good. We Water Spout to wipe out Hitmontop with Life Orb at +2. We do exactly 100% minimum. We Water Spout to kill Hitmontop. We bring this thing to Sash, and we swap into Moses on the close combat for the pre-damage for the next fight. This does minimum 100% to Hitmontop without at max HP Life Orb. It's a kill for Mimsy. This should be close combat into Moses. Yep. Crit never kills us here. This always gives us exactly enough damage. Yeah, we need to be under 130 for the Chantal fight. So that is exactly correct. This Toxicroak is not dry skin for whatever reason. So, we get to Water Spout here. Yes, and then we bring in the Toad to start his pre-damage. Thunder Punch does like 70%. Iron Fist Thunder Punch does like 90% maximum, or 70% maximum at -1. Mimsy gets 2 more KOs. Now, because the rain is up, even though we are lower HP, Water Spout will still see KOs. Now for toxic damage, we double protect because we need Mimsy to take some damage. So we're just double protecting in the face of this exclusively so that my Politoed takes some damage. None of my Pokemon are ever dead to a Conkeldurr Mach Punch, even burned. So that was, it will never click it after this and put Mimsy out of range. So now we Water Spout, and it isn't even needed, but I feel good about doing it. So we Helping Hand. And Mimsy picks up 2 more KOs. And now, we are going to double protect in the face of this again for more Toxic Chip on Frog King. And then single target +2 in the rain, Helping Hand boosted, Life Orb boosted Water Spout always kills Breloom, even at this HP. It always kills. And that is Marshall. Completely riskless Marshall. This next fight is really... I only heal up Mimsy here, and we get to do Male Tech. So, as I fill this out, I'm going to tell you what Male Tech is. Sableye on the right side of the field is holding a Lagging Tail, and it has Trick with Prankster. The AI in this game determines that tricking a Lagging Tail onto an opponent is valued the same as a kill. And since I am showing no kills on either Mimsy or Frog King, this Sableye is going to spam Trick into one of those 2 slots. Apparently, you cannot trick off Male. So, by holding an item that is Male, I can ensure the Sableye is useless indefinitely. Okay, Chantal. Okay, here we go. So, because of the pre-damaging we did, the whole reason this is funky is this Mismagius has a Focus Sash. My Starmie is the fastest thing alive. It is plus speed, 30 speed IV, I believe. So, it outspeeds everything, but it can't one-shot. So we're going to protect. We're baiting a kill from Mismagius. Gengar does see kill on me. It also sees kill on Politoed. Nothing sees kill on Moses, or on Mimsy, rather. So we double protect and we Shell Smash. Sableye should fail a trick. These 2 should attack into the protects. Yup. 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 Perfect. Shell Smash goes up. In the rain, nothing here survives the Helping Hand boosted Water Spout. Except for Mismagius, who we outspeed with Moses and kill. We are going to board wipe right here. This should be a failed trick from Sableye. Yep. Water Spout clears Gengar and Sableye right here. Brings Magius to Sash. Mimsy is getting the most kills in this Elite Four period. Alright, that is a board wipe. Now, it should be Chandelure, Golurk, Jellicent from right to left. Exactly. This Jellicent is Water Absorb. We don't care. This is the reason why through the entire Elite Four line we've held Dark Pulse onto Moses. It also guaranteed sees Shadow Ball kill onto Moses. Sorry, Dark Pulse on Mimsy. We Water Spout here to take out the Golurk and the Chandelure, as Shadow Ball goes into Moses. Jellicent, Water Absorb does not redirect, it just doesn't take damage, so this will still pick up the KOs on Golurk and Chandelure. If she had given Pachot to one of these guys, it might have been an issue, but she simply didn't. This should be Shadow Ball from Jellicent into Starmie. Exactly. And now we kill with Thunderbolt plus Dark Pulse. Alright. That is riskless Chantal. So the next fight is not riskless. The only way I could make my way through Caitlyn, the only way, is by hitting a turn 1 Wide Lens Hydro Pump with Politoed. If I don't hit that, it is bad. If I don't hit that, it is bad. Let's just say that. What are pump odds? It's about 88% to hit. 12% to miss. If I hit, it's riskless. If I miss, we have to sear through turns of Trick Room. And likely wipe. This is the make or break moment right here. If I miss this Hydro Pump, I don't know. If I miss this Hydro Pump, we likely wipe. Just don't miss. So, this is Slowbro and Musharna lead. This Slowbro is holding a eject button. Musharna wants to set up Trick Room. It just does. Life Orb, Water Spout does 60% minimum to Musharna. Hydro Pump does 40% minimum. Slowbro will be sent out. I just need to hit this Hydro Pump. Please. 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 Crit doesn't matter on Slowbro. Just hit, Fraud King. Just hit. Please just hit. Please just hit. Please just hit. Just hit. Just hit. Yes! 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 Oh my god, yes! Okay, we're going to champion. We're going to champion. Oh, we hit it. We hit it, folks. Okay, so the reason that mattered is because if the Starmanitan ever attacks Mimsy, we lose. But it can only ever now, both Mons can only ever attack Frog King. So we protect with Frog King and get a Shell Smash off. This can never be Heat Wave either, because Heat Wave doesn't kill in the rain. It can only be single target move onto Frog King. Mimsy gets to the +2 in the rain. This Darm was the reason I was crashing out. I spent like 2 hours on Caitlyn because this Darm was crazy. I had to redo my entire line starting from Caitlyn, finding a way to get through this. Alright, Water Spout picks up 2, and we swap Politoed into Starmie. The luck is lucking. I'll tell you what. Look at that double KO, baby. Look at that double KO. Water Spout should kill. And we'll just T-Bolt in case it doesn't. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a double KO. Yep. Okay, we're going to champ. We're going to champ. It is not over. I said that after every fight. This champ fight is not free by any means. There's a split path, but it is not free. Here we go. Welcome, challenger. Oh, this is such a cool Elite Four or a champion room. I've been waiting for this. You know what? I really look forward to having serious battles with strong trainers. I mean, come on! The trainers who make it here are trainers who desire victory with every fiber of their being. And they are battling alongside Pokemon that have been through countless difficult battles. If I battle with Pokemon like that, not only will I get stronger, my Pokemon will too. And we'll get to know each other even better. Okay, brace yourself. I'm Iris, the Pokemon League champion. And I'm gonna defeat you. No, the f you're not. So, the way this starts. Mysterion is in the lead holding a citrus berry. Or sorry, a cherry berry. This Serperior never sees a kill and has glare and is slower. So it should always go for speed control glare. We click Bug Buzz. We don't want to crit here. Crit would be bad. Okay. Perfect. Perfect first turn. We eat the cherry berry. And now we kill this thing with U-turn and switch out. Because if we killed it outright, we'd bait Dragonite. And it doesn't see guaranteed kill with Fire Punch, which means it could Dragon Dance and mess everything up. So we have to U-turn out. Here's where I originally got a little scared. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to U-turn into Starmie, which is going to bait out Alakazam. I originally had thought that Starmie learnt Shadow Ball. It doesn't. So, I had to make sure Starmie got to level 80, because at level 80 with a Mystic Water, Surf always 2-shots. This Alakazam, this is the first split line. So we either have to dodge a crit here, or it can Nasty Plot because it doesn't see kill. Nasty Plot is much preferred. If it Nasty Plots here, that is, or I can crit. If it Nasty Plots here, that's really, really good. Or it lives with the Focus Sash. Okay, it's fine. It Nasty Plots. That's really, really good. So, that means we get to kill this thing with Surf. We would have 2-shot without the crit. It doesn't matter. We kill this thing with Surf, which means Togekiss comes in with Thunder Wave. I also have Thunder Wave, and I am Natural Cure. So I'm going to hit my Thunder Wave here, hopefully, which hits. I want her to hit through and Thunder Wave me here. Ooh, okay. It can also do that. Okay, that's fine. So now it sees guaranteed Moonblast kill. We dodged crit there. I thought it would always Thunder Wave because I'm faster, but whatever. It should be guaranteed Moonblast here into Trapper Keeper, who is now faster. This actually sets us up better, if I'm being honest with you. This is better for us, taking that damage and not getting crit. Okay. So Moses never, or Trapper Keeper never dies. With Life Orb, I need to hit this. I need to hit this. With Life Orb, I do exactly 127 minimum with Gear Grind, which kills after Citrus Heal. And I hit it. Trapper Keeper, taking your 34th boss KO of the run. Thank you for your service, my friend. You have been wonderful. Every fight you've come to, you are a Verbank Complex encounter, and you have come to almost every boss fight. You have been wonderful, my friend. Okay. Ooh, okay. Latios comes in, and unfortunately, we have to just let Trapper Keeper go here. Goodbye, my friend. You've been amazing. But, that is not all. For Mysterion is gonna get a Bug Buzz off. But he also must die. This Latios is just too strong. I have to chip it. Godspeed, Mysterion. That's 2 down. He's now a 4v3. Starmie comes in, is never dead to Esper Wing, which is this thing's priority move, and KOs with Ice Beam. Good job, Moses. This baits out Dragonite. Because we took that damage earlier, we are actually always dead to Dragon Claw, so it can't Dragon Dance, so our wipe condition is gone. We're gonna lose Moses. We're gonna Ice Beam here. I guess it might Dragon Dance because it's slower, but it sees kill, so it shouldn't. Multi-scale ensures that this lives. What? I froze? Starmie does not want to die! Starmie does not want to die! Okay, buddy. Alright, Moses. Starmie lives! That was not needed. We had 3 other Ice Beam users. But I guess Starmie wants to live. Alright, there's 1 Pokemon left. And guess who's sitting in the back ready to sing their song and never dies to a Hydro Pump crit right here? Oh my god, I'm gonna cry, dude. Oh my god. Agility doesn't matter. Frog King, sing your song, my friend! La 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 la. Hydro Pump crit never kills us. We sing our lovely little song. All Pokemon hearing it in 3 turns will faint. Let's protect once. Demus con perish. Demus con perish. Into Mimsy. Never dies to Hydro Pump crit. One into Craig. He dies! We fucking won! We won! Yes! Yes! Oh my god, dude! Oh my freaking god! Oh my god! Oh! Oh, it took 6 months. Let's go. Of course it was the South Park run. What a rush. It took me over 2 years, but after Redux Falls, I've now officially completed a hardcore nuzlocke of every single Drayano/Drayano adjacent game. This was by far the hardest nuzlocke I have ever beaten. There were streams where I seriously considered giving up. Redux is not a game for the faint of heart, and after so many early game wipes, I was seriously beginning to doubt whether I'd ever make it to the end. This run was not perfect. I'll be the first to admit I made a ton of mistakes, but it's still a run that I'm immensely proud of. It made me such a better nuzlocker, and it's given me the confidence to keep trying harder and harder Pokemon hacks. Thank you so much to everybody in the Redux channel of the DRXX Discord server. Y'all answered so many questions I had and kept me going when I wanted to give up. Also, huge shout out to my editor for this video, Aaron. I approached Aaron like 4 months ago and said, hey, I want to make a long form video about my Redux run, but I don't know how to edit. Will you do it? And she instantly said yes. She has catered to all of my insane ideas for this video and has made something I think we can both be really proud of. This video would not have happened without her, so Erin, thank you. I told her while this was happening to flash her Twitch on the screen, but it's also going to be in the description below, so please go and check her out and show her some love. Speaking of which, if you liked what you saw in this video, please come join me on Twitch, which is also linked below in the description. I have a rather erratic schedule right now because my job just started back up, but I'm still trying to stream once or twice a week, if not more. Currently, I'm trying to beat a game I never even dreamed of attempting before my Redux confidence boost. Pokemon Emerald Kaizo. It is an entirely different beast of Redux. Hacks items are everywhere, but it's been fun. Come check it out and chill with us. Finally, thank you all so much for watching this video. I've always loved watching long-form Nuzlocke content on YouTube, and the fact that I now have a video uploaded of my own makes me happier than you can know. Now, I can't promise anything, but I don't think this will be the last time you see something like this coming from me. Until then, deuces.